Alright, so yesterday I made a video on all the different ways to pitch and all the different ways that you can customize pitching itself. Today I'm going to be going over all the different ways you can hit and all the different customizations that you can do with hitting itself as well. I had already made this video, but I noticed that I didn't explain everything as well as I could have. So here we are again, doing it once more. If you do enjoy the video and you want to keep up with my channel and learn any tips, tricks, or just kind of see the gameplay as I go, consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell. And of course, if you do like the video itself, consider leaving a like. But with all that said, let's go over all the different things that you can do with batting. So just like I did with the pitching, we're going to show you all the extra things that you can do with batting before we head into the batting itself. So if we go to options, we go to gameplay, we have base running and batting. We're only going to worry about the batting, which I think is most of this, because I think the base running stuff is in the advanced. It is for the most part. So we're only going to focus on the batting stuff. Fielding and base running will have its own video, which will probably come out later today. Alright, so first, of course, we're going to talk about the difficulties, because depending on the difficulty will depend on how fast the pitch comes in. So let me quickly go to who's got a really fast fastball. I think we're looking for Brewstar, but I don't think Brewstar is up. So we'll go with the next fastest guy. Yep, you'll do it. So we're going to find somebody who has a 99 mile per hour fastball. We're going to go to options, gameplay. We're going to start at, let's do rookie, because I think you're not really going to see beginner on online. If you do online, you're only going to see rookie to legend. So we'll start with rookie, and then we'll show you how fast it is on rookie, and then we'll show you the drastic of how fast it is on legend, and obviously everything else is in between. So as you'll see right here, I'm not going to swing because we really would just want to see how fast it comes in. Okay, that's reasonable. 98, up and in. So if we go all the way to legend, you should see that there is a significant increase on how fast it comes in. Yeah, it comes in a lot faster. And if you noticed, the zone for which I use, it got smaller. Whenever you're on rookie, hitting is going to be a lot easier, just like pitching is going to be a lot easier. And then of course, as you get up and up, it's going to get a lot harder. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the hitting view. This is like probably the biggest thing that I forgot to talk about in the failed recording. So yeah, that was bad of me, because the hitting view can be very important. It determines what you see and how close you are to the play and how far away you are from the play. Because if we take a look at something like strike zone 3, you know, you're back, you're not up close, and you have a kind of wider view of everything going on. Yeah, I'm very late. I'm not used to legend, so I'm gonna like tone that down just a little bit. But I will go back in because, as you can see, that was far away. Now, if we go into something like strike zone, this is going to be a lot closer. A lot closer. You're basically, most of your screen is the strike zone itself, so that way you can kind of, you know, have a good view of where the ball is going rather than having a good view of everything. Well, they do give you a lot of different ones. It starts from the show 16 and goes all the way through until offset zoom. All of those are your hitting views. The rest are your pitching views. You can hit from these if you really want to. Like if you want to do this, you can, but you can only do it in offline. You can't do this in online. Did I just almost... I almost hit a home run off of that. I'd love if we could do something like this online, because I love to try to do like a game like this where it's like reversed, but I can't, sadly. So when it comes to the hitting view, it all depends on what you like. Obviously, I prefer strike zone 2. I don't like to be too far away, but I don't like to be too close. So I think strike zone 2 is for me. So next is the ways to hit. We'll get to that in just a second. Then we have the PCI indicator, which we will get to when we talk about zone. So the last thing that we really have to talk about here when it comes to hitting is you have the option to do guess pitches. Now, you can't do this online. unless it is specified in a certain event or just in the game itself that you can use it. But for the most part, it is almost always turned off online. Now offline, you can use it as much as you want. You have the quadrant, the PCI, the classic, the no feedback, and of course off. Now the quadrant, I know what this is. Quadrant is, you pick a quadrant and you can say, I think the pitch is going to be up, and you'll get a thing saying you're right. Obviously there, your PCI kind of automatically goes up and just stays there. It's like, okay, yep, it's up here. I kind of think that's a little if you're using zone. Obviously you can also guess the pitch, so if you happen to guess the pitch and location right, you'll get obviously like a bing, you got it, and your controller will start rumbling like non-stop. Or you can just kind of guess the pitch itself, and then does it really do anything? Okay, the ball will light up red. So I'm gonna quickly like look over the other ones and kind of see like what's PCI, what's different between this. Anything? Oh, this actually allows you to use your PCI. Okay, so if you're using zone, use the PCI one if you're gonna do guess pitch, because you know what, it'll actually let you move your PCI. So that's actually really nice. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. The next one we have is classic. I'm assuming, is this kind of, oh, that's where it shows you exactly where it's gonna go. Okay, classic just basically shows you that's where it is. Okay, now I remember. Okay, this is bringing back memories from like MLB The Show 2010, 2011, when I used to use guess pitch a lot. And then we have the no feedback, which I'm assuming it'll just be like a rumble or something, kind of like, yup, you got it, or okay, it'll just be like, yes, you got it, but without showing you exactly where it is and allowing you to move your PCI. So okay, now that I understand what all this is, so that is everything that has to do with guess pitch. I'm going to turn it back off because I don't use it. This is all base running stuff. Again, we'll get into that in another video. But now that we've gone over all the different things that you need to worry about when it comes to customizing your batting experience, we're going to talk about the 3 different ways to bat, including zone, directional, and pure analog. And we're going to start with the easiest one, most likely, directional. So directional works how you probably think it would work. It's you pick a direction and you swing. You don't have to worry about getting it exactly on the spot. It's just you think the ball is going to be up, you kind of go up and you swing. Was I early on that or was I late on that? I was early on that. Okay, but it's just pick a direction and swing. Of course, you can just sit there and not do it. This was like the classic way of hitting back in the day. We didn't really have directional back in the day. It was kind of just you just swing, and it's all about timing. And then obviously if you think the ball is going to be up, maybe you kind of hold up in like a direction, and if you think it's going to be in the middle, you kind of just go left or right. Or maybe if you think it's down, you go like down left, down right, kind of like that. I don't really know everything about directional, because when directional came out, I was already using zone. So yeah, I really didn't use directional a lot. So yeah, directional is probably like just simplest. You just time it. The next one we're going to talk about is pure analog. Now, pure analog is you use your right stick to swing. I'm pretty sure this is almost exactly how the hitting worked in the MLB 2K games. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it worked this exact way, where if you take your right stick and you flick up, that's just like a normal swing. If you take the stick and kind of go back and forward, that's like your power swing. Also, I did this in the last video, and apparently it was just bound to happen in this video too. So I'm going to talk about it once this thing falls. Okay, we're going to go back to options, and we're going to go back into directional. So there are different ways of hitting. If you're on PlayStation, it's X. If you're on Xbox, it's A, but that is your normal swing. Normal swing has just, it's average. It's trying to get the best of both worlds with contact and power. Now, the next one would be circle and B. That is your contact swing. This is all about trying to get the bat on the ball no matter what. Yeah, contact swings are just getting the bat on the ball no matter what. We're not trying to hit it for power, we're just trying to keep ourselves alive in the at-bat. So you'll probably see people use this when you're like in a 0-2 count and you want to try to fight to stay alive, maybe get yourself in a better count to where maybe you'll get like a fastball in a place that you want to hit it, or just a good pitch to hit. And then if you're feeling really confident, that's when you would press square or X on Xbox. So square is power or X is power. Obviously, this is swinging for the yard and you're going to hit it hard, but you also have a higher chance of missing it if you don't time it well, or if we talk about zone, if you don't get the PCI in the right spot. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to go over that. And then the triangle and Y button is your bunt. You can bunt early or you can wait till the guy pitches and kind of do a drag bunt. That's all dependent on you. Obviously, if the pitch is high like that, you probably shouldn't bunt because you're going to pop it up. So yeah, going back to the pure analog, it's very simple. It's flick up for just your normal swing, and then you pull back and flick forward for your power swing. And it's just timing. You're not aiming anything, it's just full on timing. So now that we're done talking about those, we're going to talk about the one that 90%, 95% of people use, and that is zone. Now, like I said before, there are certain things to deal with the PCI of zone. So we're going to talk about that first before we get into the hitting of zone. So the PCI is, let's just take a look back at it. It is this thing. It is a thing that you're able to move on the screen. That is your PCI. Wherever you swing inside that circle is basically where it's going to hit. If you end up hitting a ball that's at the top of that zone, you're going to get a fly ball. If you kind of hit it towards the middle, you're probably going to get a line drive. If you hit it at the bottom, you're probably going to get a ground ball. So the baseball game can sometimes give you mixed results when it comes to that. Sometimes you'll kind of hit it like at the bottom of the zone and it'll somehow end up being like a home run. But that's like a very rare occurrence. Some things in the system are a little wonky, but for the most part, it's pretty accurate. Now, moving on over to the PCI and how you can customize it, there are different ways that you can do so. So you can change its color. You can change the certain things that you see on the PCI itself. You can see how transparent or opaque it is, and then you can change what fades in or fades out on it. So if we show you nothing fading out, and then we bring in an outer, this is what it's going to look like. So as you can see, I have an outer, I have an inner, and I have a center. The outer is your contact range. Like sometimes it may not be in that inner, but it's kind of in that outer, and you're kind of able to like at least hit it or foul it off or just something along those lines. So that's what that circle is. The inner circle is your big hitting circle. That is a circle that you obviously want to aim for. As you can see in the bottom left, it shows you what that inner circle is. So whenever you swing, you can go, okay, I hit it a little off the center, a little high. So you kind of have an idea of where you hit it. See, that one was a little left and just a teensy bit down. And that was a pretty solid line drive. It almost even went out of the damn yard. So sometimes you really don't have to hit like a big fly ball. All you really got to do is hit like a line drive in just the right spot, and you might even hit a home run depending on what batter you're using. So now let's talk about the things that you can obviously change. So we have the center, which has altitude, none, diamonds, and circles. Those are the different like things that you see like in the very center. You have like the three little lines. Those are the things you can change there. You can change the inner to a bunch of different things. Like let's show you fishbowl, and we'll show you. We'll change those two. We'll show that. We'll change it to, let's go diamonds, and then we'll change the outer just because to starfighter. Why not? So now you can see like 3 different ways that it can look. So now the outers are kind of in, that's kind of going out, and then you have diamonds in the center. But the ones that I have are the ones that I like. I don't like having the outer because I kind of want to focus in on the actual point of hitting. So I like to turn that off. The inner, I kind of prefer the basic because it's just kind of there. And then for these, I like the altitude, just kind of, I don't know. I feel like the circles were a little off for me last year, and I don't know, I don't like the diamonds that much. I kind of like how the altitude works. Then we can move over to color. You can change it to a bunch of different colors, going from green to black, white, yellow, orange, red, purple, blue. There are a bunch of different colors. Obviously, the one that I like most is cyan. I don't know, it just kind of works with me. But maybe you want it to be purple. You can make it purple. We got a nice violet here. If we go back, maybe you want to make it red. We can make it red. And we got a nice red one. And once this pitch comes, I probably should just let those go at this point, honestly. But if we go back, we can change the opaque. So you want to make it 100%. You can do that, and it's, you know, right there in your face. Or maybe you don't want to see it much at all. You can put it to 20% and you can barely see it. And if you choose so, you can also just make it completely invisible. Where is that? Right here. You can just turn it off. So now you're playing without seeing it at all. So it totally depends on how you want to play it. If you do want to play it this way, I like to do 70% fade out for the center and outer. And then I like to make it cyan. Let's make it back to cyan. But talking about the fade out is, as you can see, I have the inner and center. I don't have an outer. You'll see the center part disappear. So that way I can kind of focus in without having those things kind of in my way. That's why I have it go out of the way and fade out, because I prefer having those not, you know, impeding my vision of the pitch itself. So yeah, that's everything that we need to talk about the customization of the PCI. Now we're going to talk about how the PCI works and how to kind of do zone hitting. Now, just a forefront, I'm not going to really teach you everything there is to it. I'm not going to be able to give you the best tips, tricks, and insight on how to hit the best, because I'm not the best. I'm not going to pretend I'm the best. If you want somebody to probably teach you a little better as to how to hit perfectly, I'd probably move you to Cougs or your friend Kyle, because they're really good players. I'm not. So, as you can see here, we have the zone, and you can move it anywhere you want in the strike zone. As my cat is in the... Man, you just love that camera, huh? So you can move it all the way to the top right, to the top right, top left, to the top right, to the bottom right, to the bottom left. You can't really get too far out of the zone. And as you'll see where I have the altitude, it's altitude, right? Yeah. As you can see where I have the altitude, we're gonna keep these on. We're gonna keep that on for now. As you can see, those we have a three tiers of hitting. So as you can see, we have like a medium thing at the top, a large thing in the middle, and a small little dot on the bottom. What that means is this player is more of a line drive hitter. This is a player that you want to kind of hit line drives with. This is a player that isn't going to be great at hitting ground balls and isn't going to be the best at hitting, you know, long home runs. Now, if we take a look at somebody like Aaron Judge, he has the big on top, the middle, and the medium in the middle, and then the small at the bottom. That means he is a power hitter. You want to try to hit it at the top of that zone to see if you can hit some monster home runs. That is what Judge is. He is a power hitter through and through, and you want to try to hit home runs with him. Now, I think this may work, but if we go to Garrett Cole, you'll see that it's a small dot on top, a thing in the middle, and then a medium at the bottom. That means he's more of a line drive to ground ball hitter, whereas somebody like DJ LeMay, was more of a line drive to kind of, you know, hitting it a little higher up. This is a guy that most likely, even obviously a pitcher is not a good example, but there are players out there like a David Fletcher who isn't really known as somebody who's going to hit 30, 40 home runs a year. So they're probably gonna have like something like that, and sure, you will be able to run into one every now and then and get a home run, but for the most part you're probably not going to. So that's what that means. Now, I did say that I'm not going to give you a lot of tips and tricks, but I will give you a couple as to how I kind of play. So we're going to go over to, let's go back to Judge, why not? So how I like to play it, I'm going to show you versus righties and versus lefties. So versus righties, what I like to do is, as you can see the pitcher there, he has this little zone right over here where you can see him throw the ball. I try to have my PCI in that zone itself and then try to follow the ball from there. That's kind of what I do. I'm gonna turn that back off so I can actually see the ball and not the little dots. But I kind of try to have it like in this zone right here, kind of right next to him. That way I can really follow the ball and smash it. I will do this with both righties and lefties, because I kind of like to keep track of the ball itself and go from there. Now if we go over to a lefty pitcher, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that, where let's go with Urias, why not? I'm gonna kind of try to do the same, just on the opposite side, because that's where he's throwing from. So you kind of want to get your zone right around there, follow the pitch and hit it. Obviously it's going to come down to if you can match the zone with where the ball is, so that's going to be dependent on yourself. I would obviously suggest, if you're going to use zone like most people do, practice. You can practice a bunch of different things this year. In the past, you would basically have to do with what I'm doing right now. You have the pitcher pitch to you and you kind of just go. But now in this year, what you can do is you can take the pitcher, any pitcher that you want, with any batter that you want, and you can set them to throw whatever pitch they have in whatever place you want. So if you think that maybe hitting high fastballs is difficult, then you only set him to do high fastballs. If you think low off speed is going to be an issue for you, you set all off speed and you set the low zones. If you think inside is going to be an issue, you can set all inside. If you think outside is going to be an issue, you can set all outside. And if you just want him to continuously throw strikes to you, no matter what, doesn't matter what pitch, then I would just say check all the zones and go nuts. Probably the best advice I can give you if you're going to play online, it doesn't matter what way of hitting that you're going to use, that doesn't matter. What I would suggest is see how the opponent is playing. If you see them throwing a lot of strikes, then you want to get ready to hit. If you see them throwing, a lot of balls, then be very patient, because that's probably a tendency of theirs. So if you see somebody kind of just getting in multiple 2-0, 3-0 counts, or if you notice that you're swinging a lot and you notice that most of the pitches are like curveballs in the dirt, maybe something that you can do is, say he always throws you a curveball as the first pitch and you notice that 90% of them are balls, put your controller down, let him throw it, let him do that, because if you have your hand off the controller, you can't swing. And of course, if he throws a lot of pitches in the zone, you're going to have to swing. That's just something that you're going to have to do, because if they continuously pound the zone, you're going to have to swing or you're going to be out. But I think that is just about everything that I wanted to talk about when it comes to hitting. Of course, there are 3 different ways to hit. There's multiple ways of using your PCI. There's multiple customizations. And if you want to use certain things, you will have to be offline. But I think with all that being said, later today there will be a video on the fielding and base running. I may have to use the options explorer. I may have to use that because I can't really force fielding in custom practice. It's only for like pitching and batting, so I may have to kind of get creative with that. But with all of that being said, thank you for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all in the next one.